Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
We're going to do this. We're going to get this one out this time, all the way.
Yeah, and right off the bat, this is take two. Take one felt so good on the other computer, and it just died. They just shut the thing right down.
You know how it sounds, like that whistle, like everything.
Everything went just straight off. Yeah. Straight off, so they don't want us talking about this. And boy, it irritates me. Honestly, it does. Unfortunately, it gets to me. Most people don't know what we go through to make these videos because it's nonstop. And not just the videos, but they stifle channels. Yeah, Evolutionary, the primary channel, there's 5 million channels on the YouTube. And at one time, it was ranked in the top 2,000. It was going up so fast. And they pulled the plug on it, just like that. Just like, make that sound again. Just like that. They pulled the plug on it and demonetized it. And, before that, they basically just play with the views. But we know why, because they don't want truth coming out. And we are getting so close to the end game of one phase of the bigger plan. And if there is any echoing, we can't help it. It's not a computer fix, guys. Do you think you could stop the powers that be from hacking into your computer? Do you think you could actually stop them? Do you think any plug or fix on YouTube is going to stop them? Can stop the alphabet soups agencies, you know what I mean? Can stop, the most powerful banking cartels in the world? Can stop extraterrestrial entities? No, it's not a computer fix, guys. Let's just leave it at that. This is totally, totally different.
Yeah, it is completely way different.
We appreciate the effort. We appreciate the, saying, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Yeah. It's not that. Yeah. No, this is something totally different. So we got done watching the current president, perhaps the last president, making, I think he's got one more speech in him, honestly. As far as before the chaos completely ensues.
Mm-hmm. I believe he does. I think he has at least one more really, really good one anyway that might spill a lot of beans, I hope.
And if you look up 1900, The Last President, of which I bought the book, read it entirely several times, it's so curious too, because what happens is, there's civil war beckoning in the book. And Congress is adjourned, and they're all together in Washington, D.C. And they're trying to come to some agreement to stop off the beginning of a second civil war. And the president makes a speech, and he's not supposed to be there. They're supposed to be there doing their thing without him making a speech, and he comes in and makes a speech. And then time runs out, and the clock strikes midnight. For them to adjourn, and this is on like December 31st, ring in the new year, and then there's an explosion that rings out, and the building, the Capitol, is no longer there. It's gone, along with the government, basically. And the first shot of the second second Civil War, Second American Revolution, however you want to call it, is underway. And that's how this book ends. And that was 1900, The Last President. That was by Ingersoll Rand, who also wrote The Adventures of Baron Trump. Mm-hmm. Believe it or not, And by the way, there's a Mr. Pence in there in a significant position as well. I think he was Secretary of Agriculture in the book or something along those lines. So the bottom line to today's speech, rally, was that the president doesn't concede at all. And of course, he's pushing for the two senators that are conservative to get reelected. And he went through a lot of things. He brought up a lot of facts that, again, the one side says there's no evidence, absolutely no evidence has been brought up. And the other side says there's so much evidence, why aren't you hearing what we're saying? Yeah. So it's an irrevocable, well, it's a marriage that's got to agree that it's time to separate, and let's do this peaceably, and let's do this in a manner that is less traumatic to the kids.
Yep. I agree with that for sure. We are just little here.
You know, it's as we know, it's been set up this way. It's whatever you want to call it. You know, it's been a ping pong ball going over one side of the table to the other side. And when you had President Obama, who was the most divisive president ever when it came in terms of the right accepting him, you know, questions about was he even born in the U.S., questions about, you know, is he even married to a person of the other, you know, questions of adoption.
Yep.
So many questions. There's so many things about to explode. You know, what if you know, the vast majority of the stories in those stupid tabloids that you would pick up, like say if you're, you know, checking out and the line's long and you see the Daily Star or whatever these tabloids are, and they have all these crazy stories on them. What if some of them were actually accurate?
I loved reading those stories. They were so fun and entertaining. What if they were accurate? You know, I mean, that would put things in perspective.
It's pretty crazy what we have going on here. So we had talked about the question of, is there really a flag, the 1776 flag flying on top of the White House right now? And we didn't have any photographic evidence. Well, people got out there and were taking photos. And the one thing I will say is that the flag flying over the White House tonight is not the usual flag. That's the bottom line. It is definitely not the usual flag.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not the usual flag. I mean, as we blow it up and look at it and look at different aspects of it, you know, it's not even a perfect circle. It's like a circle with perhaps even a little tail on it.
Yeah, and more people are coming out with other things as well. And, you know, like saying, what is this that's tailing off the flag? I don't know. Is it another UFO over D.C.? Maybe. Who knows? Are they going to land on the White House lawn and show themselves and say, hey, we're the Galactic Federation? Well, actuality, you're the ones that help the NAZIS.
That's right.
That's part of what's to be revealed, guys. And I do think that will be the case. As this computer's starting to lock up now, as they're trying to get control. So interesting. I took a couple of screenshots and blew these up. There we go. And let's look at this one first. And clearly you could see this is not the usual flag. It looks circular in here. There's a dark area here. There's a line, which must be maybe the line of 13 stars. Mm-hmm. And then we have the exterior. It looks weird, though, because it looks like there's more to it than just a perfect circle. Now, Betsy Ross's flag is a perfect circle with 13 stars. This is not quite that. And so, you know, I blew it up even more, and granted it's blurry. Let's see if they've changed it on me. Okay, they're playing with us again. Mm-hmm. Playing with us as we do this here. So, some are calling this the Q flag. It doesn't look like a perfect circle. It looks circular, but it doesn't look like a perfect circle. Is this the Q flag?
I don't know. You know, I'm looking at it just like anyone else is looking at it with their two eyes, saying that's not a perfect circle, and it's not the, you know, regular flag that's up there, but there is this funny looking tail thing at the bottom that we made when we were in grade school, you know, that little tail for at the bottom of the O to make the Q.
Any way you look at it, that has to be taken as a message.
Yeah.
I think that's the bottom line. This is a message.
Yeah, it's definitely a message.
Really interesting stuff going on here as this battle continues. By the way, you see here, there's a update in Wisconsin, and I'll let you guys read it. Things are, we said things were going to turn. We said, you know, back on August 6th, that brace yourselves, this was going to be crazy and chaotic. And by the way, I'll include a link to the resolution there. That was back on August 6th. We said back in September as well that it felt that whoever seemed to win wasn't going to actually win.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also said, I think it was in October, Cindy got that it's going to look, or no, I think that was in September when you got that it was going to look like the current president is gone, but he's not gone.
Mm-hmm. Right. That one was kind of vague, but at the same time, now it's clear, because it did look like everybody did feel, he was gone for a little bit, but now look, he's definitely not gone.
And let's look at our history. When polls were done, Princeton poll here, who's the greatest person of this year? And this was 1939. You know who came out first? Yeah. Hitler came in first. Einstein second. And then Neville Chamberlain third. Wow. And this was even after Hitler had invaded Poland. And this is where the last video died, where the computer was shut off intentionally, remotely. The Nazi Germans had such advanced technology that they got from these ETs. The Panzers were far more advanced than anything any other country had. And they used the blitzkrieg technique where they just blasted over en masse and just charged right through everything. And the Polish army, they were on horses. They were on horses fighting against tanks. It wasn't a fair battle. And it was also said to the German people that Poland instigated it. They attacked us first. Yeah, you're sure. Get the cavalry on your horses and go attack those tanks.
Yep, and all we knew is what we were being told. And same goes for everything that's going on right now. All we know is what we're being told. And, that's where you have to use your heart to discern.
Yeah, and recognize everything is a stage. And by the way, the Proud Boys leader, Enrique Tarrio, was arrested. And that was for burning... Let's see. Yeah, it was for burning some BLM material. Basically, so this is so reminiscent of 1930s Germany, because back then it was the Nazis, the National Socialists fighting against the Communists. The National Socialists fighting against the Communists. And it was bad. It was really bad. There was lots of different incidents like that. There was roundups. There was book burnings. We have cyber book burnings now. And eventually, one group got total control. And what do we have? We had a total dictatorship is what we had. A complete dictatorship that led to the loss of millions of lives.
Mm-hmm. We did. And, we just really need to watch our P's and Q's and just, kind of watch things change, but stand up for what's right.
Yes, always stand up for what's right and the higher purpose.
Yeah.
So, guys, I want to thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Make sure you're subscribed and click the bell. As always, be prepared. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.